do you think everyone has kind of always had the ability or has the ability to tap into some psychic intuition even there's this clip going around right now, I don't know if you saw it, and it's one of those ones that you watch and like, especially as a mom. So it's this younger adult man, and he's talking about this story back when he was in high school, and he was getting ready for school, and his mom came in and said, you're not going to school today. And he's like, "Why? We're gonna go. It's a field trip. We're gonna just kind of eat and shop and explore this downtown area. We're not even gonna be to school. Like we hop straight on the bus and we're going out to the field trip. Not even going to school." And she takes a pause and she goes, "So you're not going to school. You're going straight from the bus and you're going somewhere else." And he's like, "Yeah, not going to school at all. We're not even stopping there." And she's like, "Okay. Okay, you can go as long as you don't go to school." And then that day, the school had a shooting and there were casualties. And I think he was saying one of them was even what would have been his classroom. And I have goosebumps right now, but it's this this isn't an abnormal story. You hear stories about moms specifically and women specifically that are like, "I don't know about that. I don't know about that alley. I don't know about that person. I don't know about that event. Like maybe we'll just stay home." And so many of us ignore it and then we're like, "Dang, I should have listened." So I feel like we are tapped into some kind of information network that we can't see, but we feel. And then our big, dumb brains try to over intellectualize it and ignore it and override it and think that we know better.
Well, and that would make sense with the neurosurgeon who said that it is still in our brain, it's just dormant. I always say there's no coincidences, and always trust your instinct. Now, the caveat to that is those of us with anxiety, raise your hand, hello, because the anxiety will go, no, 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 emergency, emergency. Like I have not gotten on planes before
Mm,
because of anxiety. But was it the fact that something happened on a plane? Absolutely not. It was me not wanting to leave my kids, or there was, and that's why therapy is such a good thing, and understanding like why and those triggers, because
mhm.
anxiety can be mistaken for that instinct. But so I'm a blood clot survivor. I One of my other million things that have happened to me, I'm being verbose, but I had a blood clot and when I was pregnant, and they missed it for 4 times.
Whoa.
And yeah, and it was interesting though, because similar, where I'm a runner, and or I was, and I there was this pain, and they kept saying I was anxious, that there was nothing wrong, and that you pulled it when you're running, and I said no, this is a different pain. And I was dismissed, I'm not kidding, by 10 doctors. 10. I'm not even kidding. I began not being able to sleep at night because I was so afraid I was going to die. I was so afraid I was going to pass in my sleep. And of course, anyone that knows blood clots, so deep vein thrombosis is in the leg, and then what happens is it breaks off and it goes into a PE, a pulmonary embolism, and that's the cause of deaths for blood clots, or strokes, which is in the brain, it breaks off. But I think doctors say the majority of them start in the legs, if not all of them start in the legs. And I was afraid to sleep. I went to the ER three times, and I had, yeah. So but something just kept saying this, like, it's a clot, it's a clot, it's a clot. And I'll never forget the day I went in, the evening I went in, and my husband was so irritated with me. And I just said, I think I need to go in. And he's like, fine, whatever. And it was like a Saturday night or something. And I went in, and thank God for that doctor, because I had actually had a previous ultrasound the day before at another clinic. And this doctor on call saved my life, because he looked, and I told him the truth. I said, we just had one yesterday. And he said, yeah, I'll never forget. He was this old white guy. And he's like, yeah, why not? And he kind of shrugged. And I went in to get the ultrasound study, and it was actually a tech that had done a previous ultrasound, because I was getting to know him at this point. And I remember just pleading with him, like, please, like, don't think about the previous ultrasounds. And I remember him putting his hand on me and going, don't worry, every ultrasound is fresh. And he found it within minutes, and he
Wow.
told me, and he wasn't supposed to, which is why I won't mention his name, but he wasn't supposed to. And he said, I found it. He just said, I'm not supposed to tell you to act like you don't know anything, but I found it. And I just remember just sobbing, because I
Wow.
knew, I knew. And it can instinct like that, feelings like that will save your life. And as a doctor when I was pregnant said, it's better to go to the ER and have them think you're crazy than dead. So
Mhm.
never, especially when your body is sending you a signal, never ever hesitate to go in. Never. Because worst case, they just send you back. You know, best
Mhm.
case, they save your life. But even speaking as an evidential medium, I feel like once a week, once every couple of weeks, I am speaking to someone that's passed that said I should have gone in.
Wow.
You know, I had this feeling, and they'll be talking to their loved ones. I had symptoms 6 weeks prior, but I didn't want to go to the doctor. If you feel like something is wrong, and not just physically, but if you feel like I shouldn't get in the car, trust it. There's the idea of pronoia, which is the idea, it's the opposite of paranoia. So if paranoia is everyone's out to get you, pronoia is the universe is working in your favor. So if you get stopped at a stoplight, trust it. If you decide to go another way, trust it. You don't have to overthink it, but there's always a reason, always.
Have you seen there was, I spend way too much time on social media, as you can tell. There was this really well done clip, and it was this guy, and he was dressed in all black, and he looked kind of menacing and just a mean expression stomping through the streets, and he would see these no one saw him really coming, but someone would be coming out the door, and he'd trip them, and it would look really mean, but and the guy's like, "What the hell?" And then all of a sudden, a car drove by and he would have gotten hit. Or there's like a little kid and he'll shove him, and then same kind of deal. And there's just like all of these situations where you would see what the heck is wrong with this guy, but he's actually there to protect you. And it's like sometimes this is what your angels look like. So not to think that again, anything happening is happening to you. And after I saw that, this is gonna sound crazy, but after I saw that video and I was like, "Well, that's a much different perspective to take in throughout your day."